Na kukaribisha kwenye mlima wa Mungu. Uko kule Thika Sarama Estate, ukipita pale Ananas Mall kwenye barabara ya Garissa, stage inaitwa Kwaheri, Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Ikiwa unataka chumba chako peke yako, watu wawili, watu wanne na hata kikundi, tunakukaribisha. Vitu vyote ambavyo unatumia kule kwenye mlima tunapeana. Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Ikiwa ungalipenda nambari ya simu 0797953840. Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center 797953840. Mount Zion Prayer and Retreat Center. Karibuni.
Karibuni sana watazamaji wa Ezra Christian TV na hasa watazamaji wa Chumba cha Mawaidha. Leo tumedunda katika stesheni studio za Ezra Christian TV, na leo tunazungumzia jambo ambalo wengine wetu actually katika takwimu zile ambazo tumepata katika upekuzi wetu tumeona kwamba kati ya watu 5 watu 4 wana udhaifu mkubwa sana wa hili jambo ambalo tunazungumzia leo. Na leo tunazungumzia kuhusu saikolojia ya msamaha ama kusamehe. The psychology of forgiveness. Wakati tulikuwa napita mitaani na rafiki yangu na daktari, tumekuja kugundua kwamba watu wengi sana ndio utamani kusamehe, lakini katika ile hali ya kuto unaona kwamba trust inavunjika, alafu inafika wakati kwamba huwezi kusamehe, basi inakuwa ni vigumu sana. Na watu wamebeba, kuna watu ambao wana magonjwa kama pressure, kisukari, kuumwa na kichwa, sababu kisa na maana ameshindwa kusamehe. Na leo katika chumba cha mawaidha napenda kushukuru watazamaji wetu na wengi wametumaini kwamba yale mambo tutazungumzia hapa yataweza kufanya hilo jambo kuwa rahisi na tuweza kukata hizo minyororo za magonjwa na pia hata kuumwa na kichwa. Na bila ya kuchelewa tunazungumza haya mambo na daktari mshauri nasaha ambaye kidogo amekuwa ni mwenyeji wetu, anaitwa Daktari Eliud, na ningependa kumkaribisha aweze kuwasalimia. Ni juma nzima ambao hatujakuwa, lakini leo tumerudi na tunazungumzia kuhusu ile jambo. Karibu.
Asante sana Bazuu.
Karibu sana Eliud.
Naam, mimi niko salama kabisa.
Asante.
And everything from my end is well.
Good.
Niko salama kabisa. And that's why I'm here, so that we can continue with our hearing conversations.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, and so many people are appreciating these conversations.
Yes.
And it's very important that we keep them
going, yeah,
coming through, we keep them going.
Tunahakikishia kwa neema zake Mwenyezi Mungu, tutahakikishia kwamba tutaendelea kuzungumza.
Kabisa.
Na katika chumba cha mawaidha sisi hatuchelewi, hatufichi jambo na tunaiongea vile ambavyo inahitajika. Yes. Na nashukuru kwamba jumbe zimekuwa nyingi na watu wamefurahia yale ambao tumekuwa tukiyazungumzia, na hasa mambo ambayo kwanza the last show watu walitu kando nyuma ya hema, watu walikuwa ni wengi sana. Na nashukuru kwamba walichukua hatua na sasa wameondokea hizo negative thoughts na sasa zimekuwa ni positive thoughts na ambazo zimewapeleka tunaanza. Leo tunazungumzia pia jambo ambalo limetanda kote, na ni msamaha, na watu wengi hilo jambo linakuwa ni gumu. Nakumbuka wakati mwanzilishi wa taifa hili letu hayati Rais Kenyatta, wakati wabeberu waliondoka, njia moja ya kuweza kupunguza uhasama kati ya Wakenya na wazungu, aliwaambia kwamba tuwasamehe lakini tusisahau. Na hilo ndio jambo ambalo watu wengi wanajua. Lakini leo tunazungumza kwamba ni vyema tuweze pia hata kusahau, sababu ndio mwanzo wa kuweza kupata uponyaji. Karibu. Sasa ningependa uanze na kusema nini hasa uzuia watu wasisamehe? Sijui kama wewe unajipata. Ndio, karibu.
Personally, I think sijajipata in a situation where maybe nishawahi lakini siwezi kumbuka.
Ndio.
Kwa wakati huu labda nishajipata kwa a situation where I'm not able to forgive, but I can't remember. It's been a long time since I was unable to forgive, and it got to a point where now I am that there's nothing to forgive, but we'll get to that point. But there are so many people who usually find themselves in the crossroad where they don't know, should I forgive? What does exactly forgiving means? What happens after I forgive? And so being in that kind of a situation where you are not able to know exactly what forgiving means, why you should forgive, and what you are forgiving exactly. So sometimes that puts people in a fixed position. However, if you are talking about the barriers, one of the major common barriers is now sometimes what we call pride. And in most cases, pride comes in where you don't see the need in a negative way to forgive. You see? So someone else is going to have inability or waiting for someone else to come and request for the forgiveness,
Yes.
or to ask for an apology. Someone else is going to experience that as a barrier. There are so many people who are waiting, nagoja niombe msamaha ndio nimsamehe. That's also another barrier that sometimes most people are not able to, most people either delay to forgive or they just don't want to forgive. Why? Because nagoja aombe msamaha. Yes, ndio niweze kumsamehe. But they forget they are the ones who are hurting.
Hao ndio wanabeba mzigo.
Yes, but you get into that. The other barrier is usually fear. Fear is one of the other barriers that can make someone not to forgive. Because sometimes when people want to forgive, they have this question,
jamaa tufanye ni jambo tena.
Yes, sasa nimsamehe tena ndio arudie, na nikimsamehe kesho asubuhi ataamka kufanya the same thing. So rather stay like that without forgiving, because I'm afraid I'm going to forgive them and then tomorrow they will have to hurt me again. So also fear usually.
Labda tukirejelea kwa maandiko, nakumbuka mwanafunzi mmoja wa Peter ambaye alijulikana ni kiherere sana. Alienda akauliza Kristo, nitamsamehe ndugu yangu mara ngapi akinikosea? Na Kristo akajibu akasema kwamba mara 7, 7 mara 70. Kwa hivyo ni kuonyeshana kwamba unaweza samehe mara nyingi sana. Kwa hivyo sababu tunazungumzia kuhusu saikolojia ya msamaha, ni vyema tuweze kuelewa kwamba mtu asiwe na uoga. Unaweza samehe mara nyingi kadiri ya vile ambavyo unakosea. No.
Yeah, so fear now is also something else that huwa inafanya watu wasije wakasamehe, because they feel like if I forgive the person, they are definitely going to come back and do the same thing. So among others, those ones turns out to be the major barriers for fear, for not forgiving. So probably just to expound just a little bit, and the major one that I want to dwell much on is this concept of waiting for the other person to ask for an apology so that you can forgive them. And most of the times, we prioritize our ego more than we prioritize being well without hurting. Because I tell people that unforgiveness is the punishment you get. You don't get another punishment. Sometimes people will be told that, it's a sin to not forgive. And you'll be punished when you don't forgive. But the punishment of not forgiving is unforgiving. That's the punishment. So the punishment you get by not forgiving is not forgiving. That's the punishment by itself. Just like the way the punishment you get by being afraid is fear. Fear is the punishment. The punishment you get from being angry is anger. The punishment that you get when you do something is the thing you do. That's the punishment. Because sometimes people say, if I don't forgive, I'll be punished. No. The unforgiveness is the punishment. There's nothing coming after that. That's the punishment. When I'm angry and I'm mad at people, that's a sin and I'll be punished. No. That anger itself, the anger you have, that's the punishment. So, because people are not, just to deviate a little bit, people are not punished because of the wrong things they do. people are punished by the wrong things they do, not because of, but by. So if you don't forgive people, you will not be punished because of unforgiveness. You will be punished by the unforgiveness. If you are angry and then things become chaotic, you are not punished because you are angry. You are punished by the anger itself. If you have fear, like what we have mentioned, you are not punished because you have fear. You are punished by the fear. The fear itself is the punishment. That is the punishment that you get. So most people get to a point where they think that forgiving is for the other person. That I am going to forgive them so that they can benefit.
Yes.
Like, I'm setting them free from the wrong things they did to me. And then you get surprised to actually sometimes even actually know that you are afraid of forgiving someone who doesn't even know they did you wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
So there's someone who is saying, I'll not forgive them so that they can suffer. I'll not forgive them so that they can feel guilty. I will not forgive them so that I can punish them. No. Because most likely the person who you are failing to forgive, they don't even have an idea that they need forgiveness. Because what they did to them, maybe it was not wrong. It is to you that it's wrong. So when you think that by not forgiving the other person, you are punishing them, you are the only person you are punishing. Because the forgiveness is not for them. It's not to set them free. It is to set you free. So that, as Bazuu was mentioning, when you meet them in the streets, you don't have to learn.
Yeah.
So when you meet someone who you have not forgiven, most of the times you don't want to face them. You don't want to meet them eye to eye. You see them and you want to learn. When you are learning, it's you who is going to run into a ditch. It's you who is going to have a heart attack. Umekimbia umehema mpaka roho sijui inafanya nini. It's you who is going to have complications. So when you fail to forgive someone, you punish yourself by so doing. When you forgive the other person, you alleviate or you get rid of the suffering that would have come from the unforgiveness, because the other person probably doesn't even know. So you don't have to wait for the forgiveness, for the asking of forgiveness or for the apology from the person who have wronged you, so that you can forgive them. Someone was telling me that when you wait for the other person to apologize so that you can forgive them, yes, of course, and then you are waiting for them to give you an explanation to why they wronged you so that you can forgive them. Here's how it sounds. A snake has bit you, and then instead of going to look for first aid so that you can get rid of the toxin and the poison which the snake has injected you with the biting.
Yes.
The snake bites you and then you want to run after the snake so that they can explain to you why it has bitten. Kuja kwanza, come, and then you are reaping, you are in pain, you are in agony, you're suffering. But instead of first of all going to seek help so that you can release yourself from the pain and the suffering, you want to run after the snake so that they can explain to you why it has bit you. You see?
Yeah.
And by so doing, you end up staying longer in that state of pain and suffering. So waiting for the other person to apologize so that you can forgive them, that's a self-inflicted suffering and pain. The other thing that we have mentioned is fear.
Yes.
So also fear usually holds so many people back. That I'm going to forgive them and then they are going to repeat the mistake. Again, remembering that you're not forgiving the other person so that you may condition them or control their actions tomorrow. Because that's what most people think. That nataka nimsamehe ndio asiwahi nikosea tena. Hapana, utamsamehe leo akukosea kesho. Kesho asubuhi umsamehe akukosea saa 7 kesho. Saa 7 umsamehe akukosea jioni.
Tutazungumzia hilo jambo baadaye.
Exactly.
Lakini tuna watazamaji wetu tunazungumzia kuhusu nini hasa, sababu katika upekuzi wetu tumegundua kwamba kuna watu ambao wamesalia na mzigo wa kutosamehe. Na wengi wana magonjwa, wengine kila hata saa hii ananiangalia hivi, amemeza dawa ya kuzuia kuumwa na kichwa. Na kisa na maana ni kwamba aliona ule ambaye alimkosea na bado amebeba, kama vile umesema nyoka ilikuuma, wewe unagojea sumu iendelee kutanda kote kabla uende kufanya kabla umsamehe ule. Kwa hivyo tuelewa kwamba kuna hizo njia 4 ambazo zinatuzuia tusije tukafanya msamaha, kupatiana msamaha. Na hiyo ya kwanza ni kwamba tuna ile kiburi. Unajua kuna watu tu wana kiburi. Anaona bana mimi siwezi, au mtu hapana siwezi
samehe mtu kwa mimi ni Yesu.
Kwani ameniona mimi nikiwa kwani mimi ameniona, kwani mimi ni mtu aina gani? Na kumbe wewe ndio unaendelea kusononeka, wewe pia ndio unaendelea kupata shida. Jambo la pili ni uchungu, kwamba tumepitia ulimwamini huyu mtu. Na vile alikukosea ilileta uchungu mwingi sana. Sasa unakumbuka kwamba mtu nikimsamehe tena narejea tu, unasema bwana, hii afadhali kae. Na labda nazungumzia watu kadhaa, wengi wetu wao wameniambia kwamba tuweze kuzungumzia hili. Naomba kwamba tukifikia mwisho wa hii show watu watakuwa wamefunguka na wameweza kuona ni rahisi kwamba waweze kusema. Alafu jambo la pili, la tatu ni lile ambalo umesema kwamba unagojea kwamba yule akubali kwamba alifanya makosa. Alafu akuje ndio sasa uweze kumsamehe. Kijana ama ndugu, utagojea na tena utagojea tena na sana. Alafu jambo la mwisho ni uoga. Unaogopa kwamba hilo jambo litaweza kurejelewa tena. So haya mambo 4 yamekuwa ni ya kuzuia watu wasije wakaomba msamaha ama wakasamehe wale ambao wamekosa. Sio kama kuna jambo ungependa kuongezea kwa mambo haya 4, alafu ndio tuweze kwenda sasa kwa jambo lingine ambalo pia ni tujiulize, mbona uachili, mbona umekalia tu hapo?
Now there's one more thing that I would say about the barriers of forgiving others. In most cases, almost all, the reason why it's challenging for you to forgive the other person, it's because you have not forgiven yourself to begin with. So when you don't know how to forgive yourself, you don't know how to forgive others. And that's why even in the religion institution, even I think it's the Lord's Prayer that says that forgive me as I forgive. So I'm supposed to be forgiven as I forgive. Others, yeah. And I can only learn how to forgive others by first forgiving me. So it's inability to forgive ourselves that creates the space for us not to be able to forgive other people. So also that one acts as a barrier. Because I still want to justify it's the responsibility of the other person. And so I had nothing to do with what has happened to me. I'm totally 100% innocent. And so it's the other person who did me wrong. And that's why now the point of waiting for apology comes in. And so because I am not willing to accept the part I played in this happening, then I'll just relax, suffer, complain as I wait for things to change without wanting to change them. I just want, Mungu tu atakuja, atanisaidia, nitaweza kumsamehea. So we need to understand that the moment you find it challenging to forgive the other person, it's because purely to begin with, it's equally challenging for you to forgive yourself. So if you can start from within, going out is usually very easy. If you can start from within, charity begins at home, and you are the home. So if you can learn how to start from within, start with you, it will be so easy to spread it to other people. It will be so easy to share forgiveness with others when, first of all, you have totally forgiven yourself. I speak this especially to the people who at a specific point in their life, they have done something or something has happened in their life and they still regret it to date. There's someone to whom something was done when they were 5, when they were 10, when they were 15.
Amebeba kushikilia tu.
Yes, amebeba hiyo mzigo. So, and it's even so ironical that people are still even finding it challenging to forgive someone who died. Your parents died, they did something wrong, but you still haven't forgiven them. And so you still have this illusion in your mind that somehow you are punishing someone who is dead by not forgiving them. But you are the one who is suffering. So the initiating the process of forgiving has to come from a point of, is it possible that first I assess me and find my contribution to this, so that as I seek to forgive the other person, I have first forgiven me. So that now it can come from me forgiving myself and then extending that to the rest.
Asante mshauri na saa. Nashukuru sana watazamaji. Naona hapa jumbe zimekuwa mingi sana na watu wanaendelea kututazama, na ningependa wale ambao wanatutazama, nashukuru Alice ameweza kuongea na pia Monica Ndugu ameweza kusema kwamba she's tuned in, na ningependa muweze kuuliza maswali. Najua kuna watu ambao wamepitia hiyo hali, na leo nataka kwamba we can engage with each other so that ndio tuweze kupata suluhu. Na sasa tumeanza kwanza na kishindo, tumesema nini hasa inazuia. Labda ni mume ambaye hajamsamehe mke wake. Labda ni mandugu, inafika wakati labda alikuwa na mzozo wa shamba. Wengine ni majirani wajazungumza, sababu labda huyu mmoja alisongesha mpaka na ikakuwa wanasumbuana. Na mambo kama hayo imekuwa ni ya kusumbua. Hata watoto wachezi pamoja sababu ya mambo kama hayo. Nataka turejelee, uweze kutuambia mshauri na saha, nguvu, the power of letting go. Wakati unaposamehe ni nini hasa unajihisi? Ndio yule ambaye pale labda akona katika huo mfungo, kama vile umesema kuna wengine hata bado hawajasamehe, hata wazazi ambao tayari walishaondoka, amebeba bado huo mzigo. Uweze kumuelezea uzuri wa kuweza kutoa huo mzigo na aweze kusikia hata jihisi vipi. Karibu.
Now, letting go is a piece of art that everyone should purpose to master.
Yes.
Because if you don't learn how to let go, there's no way of being happy in this life. If you don't learn how to let things go, to let people go, to let things ride, then you don't have a way and an opportunity of being peaceful at all. Because you were born empty, but empty I don't mean vacant, but you are born empty. And now with time you start accumulating stuff, holding on to everything.
Yes.
Every experience you keep it to yourself. Every experience you keep it in your jar. Every experience you keep it to yourself. And you are not only keeping the good stuff, you are equally keeping the bad stuff.
So,
and most people are storing and keeping more bad stuffs than they are storing and keeping good stuffs. What happens when you stack together, pile together, or pack together a rotten tomato with good tomatoes? There's zero, let me say this, there's zero possibility of a healthy potato and fresh potato turning a rotten potato into a fresh potato. There's zero possibility. There's no way a fresh potato is going to turn a rotten potato into a fresh potato. But there's 100% possibility of a rotten potato rotting and spoiling and destroying the fresh potato. So when you store too much negatives, too much unpleasant, too much pain, too much negative energies within you, you now create a space within whereby nothing good from inside, from outside, can actually find a place within you, because something good is done.
Yeah.
Spending time within you 5 minutes has already been spoiled because it has met an environment that's rotten already.
Yeah.
And so the moment it comes in touch with your inside, it just locks and it becomes something else. That's why sometimes it's even so challenging to praise someone or to do something good to someone, because they'll never see it as good. They always think Koja, could it be ni mtaka unaniwekea? Could it be hii ni bait? Could it be unanipatia saa hii ndio uniitishe?
Ni chambo.
Could it be, yes, could it be kwa hii keki kuna kitu ndani? Hii kuna sumu. Could it be unanidanganya hapa unataka kunipea cheo ndio unipee majukumu mingi? Could it be, you see, these people, they have too much negative within them. Everything positive that comes in contact with them, it is neutralized, and sometimes it's just not neutralized, it is turned into negative. So when you are able to let go, and especially the negatives, you create more room for the positives to come in your system. And that's why, especially the young generation, I interact with so many of them. They are so tired. Watu wamechoka, wanajikokota huku kwa barabara na wako na 20 years. Unaona mtu anatembea hivi anaongea kama ameboeka, ni kama amefanywa rewind, ni kama pale kwa speed amepelekwa minus 0.5. Amepelekwa minus 0.5. So this person is tired every day, is fatigued. They are tired with life, and it's so ironical and even scary that you meet an 18-year-old who is already tired with life. They want to commit suicide. Oh, I want to die. Life is too hard. I'm already tired with life. I can't bear myself. Everything is too heavy. Everything is too difficult. No, nothing is difficult. Nothing is heavy. I don't have the energy.
Kwa hivyo lazima uelewe manufaa ya kuweza kuachilia mambo yale ambao
you have the energy. You have the energy. Everything is easy. Everything is simple. The problem is you're carrying too much weight on your shoulder. And when you already have too much weight on your shoulders, everything you try to lift up even a feather, it will feel extremely heavy. Not because it's heavy, but because there's already weight on your shoulders. So the reason why people are finding it even challenging and difficult to just maneuver or survive through this life is because there's too much they are carrying. And emptying yourself, which is now letting go, is now what makes you light enough to be able to have the energy, to be able to do the things you're supposed to do. Because there's so many people, who are saying that they don't have the energy to carry on with life. But no, you don't lack the energy. You have enough energy to carry on with life. But all your energy is being consumed by the things you are carrying on your shoulders. So if you can
the negative thoughts that you have,
the negative thoughts, the grudges, the revenge. You did me this, you did me that, you never did this, you failed to do that, I expected this, I expected that, you never did this, you failed here, you disappointed here, you frustrated here, you neglected here, you hurt. So all those things, the moment now you keep them in your system, that's a toxic. Because the moment you keep too much negatives within your system, you are intoxicating your body. And when we get to the scientific aspect of this, when we get to the scientific
sayansi ya kukosa kufanya msamaha,
we will be able to see
kwamba nini inafanya katika miili zetu.
We will be able to see how people are poisoning themselves by carrying too much weight. So letting go is the only thing that can set you free. And I think that's why even the Bible says that the truth
will set you free.
Shall set you free. Because the truth is understanding that me carrying grudges and holding on to grudges because someone did something which I interpreted as unpleasant, long, undeserving, or whichever way, in a negative way, then carrying that is hurting you. And now you need to put that weight down so that now you can be able to handle the small basic stuff that you're supposed to do with your life. So we need to let go. Stop holding on to something. And let me tell you something. The reason why most people usually hold on to grudges, the reason why most people usually hold on to things that people have done wrong is because they still think and believe that somehow those things holding on to them, they are serving them in one way or another. There's something they are trying to get from that. And especially what we call the victim mentality. You know, they want to be a victim. You know, anataka tu akae akihurumiwa kama
anabembelezwa.
Unajua mamangu alinikosea. Unajua sasa the reason why I cannot commit kwa hii relationship is because I grew up in a neglectful family. You know, the reason why I cannot show up for you is because my parents never showed up for me. You know, the reason why I'm toxic is because my parents were so toxic. You know, the reason why I'm narcissistic is because my dad was narcissistic. Now,
hizo vitu zote
they are holding on to these things because they want to keep justifying their toxicity and their bad behaviors. So they want to hold on to that. Ndio wakae wakihurumiwa so that they can be able to do something wrong, hurt someone else and get away with it.
Asante. Umezungumza kwa kina. Mtazamaji, daktari ametuzungumzia kwa kina kuhusu uzuri wa kuweza kusamehe. Hii ni chumba cha mawaidha ukiletewa na Bazuu the wise man pamoja na mshauri na saa Eliud. Leo tunazungumzia kuhusu psychology of forgiveness ama saikolojia ya kuweza kusamehe. Ningependa wale ambao wanatutizama waweze kupeana hata shuhuda ya mambo ambao wamepitia. Labda wewe ambao unatutizama uko katika hiyo hali. Kuna labda mzazi ambao hujamsamehe. Kuna rafiki ambaye alikufanyia jambo na wewe umekuwa ukimbeba. Lakini leo tumeanza kusema kwamba barriers za unforgiveness, na tukarudi tukaongea juu kuhusu the goodness ama uzuri, the power of letting go. Usije kuwa katika hiyo hali. Na sasa tunaingia katika awamu nyingine ambao tunazungumzia now the science behind. Mshauri na saa ametanguliza na kusema kwamba wakati unapokosa kusamehe, mwili una vile Mungu aliumba, na kuna vile ambavyo inajaribu kudhibiti hiyo toxins ambazo ziko ndani yako, na kuna kemikali ambayo inaitwa cortisol. Wakati tumeanza hii show tumesema kwamba watu wale ambao hawasamehi wanajipata, wengine wamepata hata na ugonjwa ya sukari, hata pressure, hata wengine wanaumwa na kichwa. Hata sasa labda nazungumza na mtu ambaye kichwa kinamuuma, sababu kuna hiyo kemikali inaitwa cortisol. Lakini wakati unasamehe, kama vile tumesema, when you let go, kuna chemical mbili ambazo zinawekwa ndani ya mwili ambazo zinafanya unasikia vizuri. Wengi wale ambao wamepata nafasi ya kusamehe, mshauri, wanasema kwamba wao usikie ni kama mzigo imetolewa. Lakini kumbe ni ile chemical ya cortisol inasimama, alafu chemical ya oxytocin inawekwa ndani ya mwili ambayo inafanya uweze kusikia umefurahia. Hebu tuelezee kuhusu hiyo science, the science behind unforgiveness.
So now
that part of the body,
yes,
hasa katika ubongo, ambayo kama vile ulieleza kusema kwamba wakati unapokosa kusamehe, haya mambo yanarundikana ndani ya fikra na mwili wako. Na mwili umetengenezwa kiasi ya kwamba lazima udhibiti hayo mambo mabaya ambayo unaweka ndani yako. Na vile unadhibiti ni kumwaga kemikali. Ni kama vile ukienda mahali ambao ni giza hivi, uhisi kana kwamba kuna mtu, unasikia nywele imeinuka. Na hiyo nywele ikiinuka ni njia inakuambia ufanye mambo mawili. Either ukimbie ama ufanye
ama ukimbize.
Ama ukimbize. Yes. Sasa pia hivyo wakati unapopitia mambo magumu, kuna hiyo chemical ambayo inaitwa cortisol, ambayo ndio inaanza kuadhiri mwili. Kiasi ya vile inaendelea tu kujaza kwa mwili, ndio vile inaendelea kuharibu mwili. Lakini wakati unaposamehe, kuna hiyo chemical ya oxytocin na cytocin ambazo zinakufanya unafurahia, na basi ile afya yako haizoroti na inaendelea kuimarika. Karibu.
So in our brain, the amygdala, which is a part of our brain that usually secretes such chemicals. Because one thing that people need to understand is that we are made of chemicals. Yes. We are chemical beings, if I would say. Everything that we do is a chemical. It's always a chemical reaction. We talk about love, talk about emotions and feelings. All that is chemical. It's a chemical being sent that gives forth a certain reaction or effect or outcome to the body. So when we are talking about forgiveness, because we have, I mentioned just previously that when you fail to forgive and you carry too much negative energy too much negative thoughts, too much negative this, negative that, you are poisoning yourself. You're poisoning your system. You're poisoning your cells. And so by the brain releasing cortisol and other chemicals that are secreted to give that detoxifying effect.
To manage it.
Yes, to manage. You detoxify your system because you have already poisoned it by holding on to grudges and negative things. So now these chemicals that are released by the brain when you forgive, now those are the chemicals that now, actually, if you can be able to forgive as an instance, you just have like an orgasmic experience of forgiveness.
Yes.
You get to a point where now you forgive at an instance of a moment, you will feel like a leaf fresh, like your body has been refreshed.
Yeah.
You can even feel like it's something has come from your head and then it has gone to your body all the way down. It's like ni kama umeoshwa tu hivyo, and then you feel like I feel even lighter. Nilikuwa hata naumwa na hapa hivi kwa mgongo kidogo. Sasa nasikia kama imeacha. Because thoughts are a form of energy. And this negative energy inakuwa imekalia your cells, and then it intoxify your cells to a point that now you can even get sick out of stress now. Unforgiveness can give forth stress and even depression and even suicide. Unforgiveness. So if unforgiveness can bring forth stress, and stress can bring forth conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, low immunity, proneness to diseases, and those other physiological conditions, then you can be sure that not forgiving can actually make you sick at a physiological level. Because unforgiveness means you are harboring negative energy within your cells. And you have never asked yourself why they are called cells. Which other cells do you know? The cells that are used maybe in cars, the battery cells, the cells which are used in even the cameras we are using, some of them they use the cells. So the cells in your body, they are equally used to host and store energy. So just like the way you can put acid in a plastic container, that's exactly the same way or the same thing that happens when you put negative energy in your cells, your body cells. Though that negative energy in form of unforgiveness, anger, guilt, shame, fear, all trauma, all those negative energies which are kept in your cells, they weaken your cells and they start burning your cells. Just like the way you would put acid in a plastic bottle and then it starts eating up the bottle. The bottle is your cell. And the acid now is the negative energy that you're harboring within your system. So when now you keep on accumulating this negative energy, you keep on poisoning your cells. You keep on poisoning your body. Poisoning your body means that you are slowly killing the cells. And your body is made up of cells. When you start killing your cells, what are you killing? You are killing your body. So one day, you end up dying out of unforgiveness. And this is not any other form of death, but even the physical death. And then we are reading your eulogy, and they are saying, you died out of ulcers. Lie. You died out of unforgiveness. This person died because of low they had low immunity, and so akapata COVID, and then because of low immunity, ikamuua. Sio COVID ilikuwa, ni kukosa kusamehe. The other person is diabetic. The other person has high blood pressure. The other person has even many other conditions. It's simply because you cannot forgive, and this unforgiveness is now the energy that you are storing within your system that is making you sick. So at a physiological level, harboring negative energy of unforgiveness will continue weakening you and putting you in a state where you cannot even be able to fight even the small bacteria and viruses like cold flu or flu cold, whichever, for as long as you are coughing and you are sneezing, that one. So you'll not even be able to fight such, because your body is harboring too much negative energy. So what you want is to detoxify your system, not using aloe vera or using other detoxifying medications and herbal things that they sell to you, no. But you just sit down in a state of forgiveness. Staying in a state of forgiveness and staying in a state of gratitude have almost equal levels of energy. It's just like the way you can be grateful every single day. When you are grateful, you are smiling to everyone, even to people you are not supposed to be smiling to. You're smiling to everyone because you're grateful. Your face is glowing. You're happy. You're excited. You're spreading joy and happiness and excitement to everyone you meet. Why? Because you're staying in a state of forgiveness and in a state of gratitude. So it is very important to understand that physiologically, unforgiveness has detrimental effect on you. Weaken your immunity, gives you even chronic illnesses like diabetes. It will make you have blood pressure. You can have ulcers because of unforgiveness. You can have accidents because of unforgiveness. Umepatana na jamaa unachukia, and then unaenda bio, unasahau kuangalia barabara, unagogwa, tunaokota roho yako na huku Timbuktu. Imetoka bio imeenda. So it can even cause accidents. So you need to forgive so that you don't put yourself in a line whereby your life is in danger, health-wise, psychologically, because even psychologically you are torturing yourself. Because every time someone mentions unforgiveness, you remember the person you have not forgiven, and you start feeling bad about that. You start remembering those bad things they did to you, hence poisoning your own system. So we need to forgive so that we can even be physiologically and physically healthy.
Asante mshauri na saa ni kwamba nadhani tunaendelea vizuri na tumepata kuelewa kwamba wakati tunapokosa kusamehe inaathiri afya zetu, na ni wengi ambao tumeona wamekuwa afya zao zimezorota sababu wamepata magonjwa yale ambao si ya kuambukiza, those non-communicable diseases ambazo ni blood pressure, diabetes, migraine headaches. Na tumeona kwamba haya yote yanafanyika sababu wakati unapokosa kusamehe kuna kemikali ambazo zinaingia ndani ya mwili wako. Na tukaona kwamba a chemical like cortisol ndio Mungu aliiweka ndani ili wakati mambo mabaya yanaingia yanadhibiti, usije mambo ikaharibika zaidi. Lakini wewe unazidi tu kuichochea. Na kadiri ya vile ambavyo unaendelea kuchochea ndio vile nayo cortisol inaingia, na ndio inafanya sasa magonjwa mengine yanatokea. Na tukielewa kwamba wakati tunaposamehe tunapunguza hiyo idadi ya cortisol ndani ya mwili wetu, na tunafungua switch ya pande ile ambayo inafanya mwili ifurahi. Umetumia neno orgasmic. Na tunaelewa kwamba wakati tunapofanya hivyo kuna hizi cytosine chemical na pamoja na oxytocin ambazo ni chemicals ambazo zinafanya usikie umefurahi. Na wakati unapofanya hivyo basi inakuwa ni rahisi na kuweza kubadilisha. Kwa hivyo yule ambaye anatutazama, elewa kwamba msamaha na kutosamehe iko na mchango mkubwa sana kwa afya yako. Labda umekuwa ukitumia pesa ya magonjwa kama pressure na diabetes, na kumbe chanzo cha hiyo mambo, kuna familia, labda nipeane mfano, ni kwamba kuna familia moja ambao walikosana sababu ya wakati wazazi wao waliaga, ikafika mahali wa kugawana mali na wakakosana. Sasa hata wako wanaongea. Na unaona hizo familia ilifika wakati mmoja wao alikuwa ni mgonjwa kiasi ya kuwa mahututi, na kisa na maana ni sababu hakusamehe. Lakini wakati kanisa iliingilia, na labda tutazungumzia hiyo mambo baadaye, tunaona familia hizi wakiwa na mapatano. Na wakati waliposameheana, yule ambaye alikuwa ni mgonjwa aliwacha tu dawa mara moja. Kwa hivyo tuelewe kwamba kutosamehe ina mchango mkubwa sana katika afya zetu na mambo mengine. Ningependa tuende kwa awamu ya nyingine, lakini kabla sijafanya hivyo, napenda kushukuru wale ambao wanatutizama, na nimeomba kwamba tuweze kuchangia hii psychology of forgiveness ambayo imekita mizizi huko nje katika jamii na imeathiri watu wengi sana. Andika hizo comments, alafu tutaweza kuzungumzia. Jambo ningependa tungeenda tuzungumzia ni uongo, the myth behind forgiveness.
There are just a few myths that we can mention.
Yes.
And to begin with, there's the myth that forgiving comes with forgetting. And so many people seek to forget more than they seek to forgive. Sorry to say, but only a fool will be interested in forgetting something. Because when you forget something, you're most likely now going to interact with it some other time. And you'll never know, I have interacted with this before.
Yeah.
So you need to forgive and never forget. Because now the moment you forget that you have forgiven or the other person has done something, then you get into a loop whereby you forgive, you forget, they do it again. You forgive, you forget, they do it again. You forgive, you forget, they do it again. So you don't want to forget.
Really?
Because when someone does something, let me say wrong, for now, it's not only a lesson for them to learn, it's also a lesson for you to learn. Because, Bazuu, I do something to you. You consider it wrong and I'm supposed to forgive you.
Really?
Equally, as I learn that I've done something that is not in alignment with your beliefs,
True.
then that tells you that you need to adjust your beliefs so that when I do it tomorrow, it won't hurt you. You see? And so when you get into this illusion of, I want to forget and forgive and forgive and forget, so you put yourself in a position where, I'll do it today, it will hurt you, and then you're going to forgive and forget. I'll do it tomorrow, it will hurt you, or someone else is going to do the same thing tomorrow. Maybe it may not really necessarily be me, but other people also have the possibility of doing the same thing. So does it mean that now, every time someone hurts you, you must feel hurt, and you must ask the other person to forgive you because they have done that? You get to a point where now, when someone does something to you, and it doesn't sit well with you, meaning it's not in alignment with your beliefs,
Yes.
then it's an opportunity for you to learn more than it is an opportunity for them who have done something wrong to you to learn. Because you need to sit down and ask yourself, okay, now that I consider this wrong, is it possible that I can first of all stop considering it wrong? Is it possible equally that I can be able to put myself in a state within that even if someone else ever does this again to me, it will not hurt me,
True.
and I will not consider it something that I'm worth suffering or forgiving about.
Yes.
So, thinking that the package of forgiveness comes with forgetting, now you're already blocking yourself. Because there's someone who says that, you know, you will know you have forgiven when you forget. You never forget. Does that mean you have never forgiven? No.
You have forgiven. Yeah.
You can forgive and never forget, and that's perfectly healthy. That's perfectly okay. You don't have to forget. You just have to forgive. The other thing is this. If I forgive, they are going to do it again.
No, yeah.
I don't want to forgive because if I forgive, they'll do it again. I've given them the freedom to do it again. That's not true. Because when you forget, you forgive, it doesn't mean that the other person is going to repeat that simply because maybe they want to take advantage of your forgiveness. No. Don't let that become a barrier.
True.
So when you're forgiving someone, don't have that mindset that forgiving is even for the other person. Because also that's a myth that, you know, you need to forgive them so that you can set them free. No. You need to forgive them so that they can go to heaven. No. No.
Yeah.
It's you who will not go to heaven. It's them, it's you who is going to suffer and not them.
True.
It's you who is going to be in pain and not them. So when we are talking about forgiving, we need to be in a state where we are not letting anything to come in between us forgiving and now having the mindset that, because even the aspect that we say that waiting for an apology is what you can forgive is also a myth to those who believes that. That, lazima kwanza aniombe msamaha ndio nimsamehe. That's also a myth. You don't have to. You can actually forgive someone without even telling them that you are forgiven them. You don't need to have a physical meeting with the person you consider your enemy, so that you can have a peacemaking event or ceremony. So now you can tell them, mimi nimekusamehea, sawa. Unasikia nimekusamehea? Sawa, enda wewe, lakini ujue ukae uishi ukijua nimekusamehea. They don't have to know. Because you're not doing it for them. You can forgive someone who you've never met. You can forgive someone who is not meeting you, or you don't have to meet them physically. You can even forgive someone who has died. They don't have to come back to life. Ama useme sasa huyo juu alikufa. Sasa tukipatana biguni, tukipatana biguni ama pale tutapatana, tutatafuta anaitwa nani hawa mediator. So tukifika biguni na labda Enoch atakuwa mediator. So tutaita Enoch, then ndio tufanywe mediation, then we can be able to resolve this. No, you don't have to meet the person to forgive them. You just find a space within you to forgive this person with or without their presence.
Na ningependa pia uweze kuzungumzia kuhusu myth moja ambayo inasema kwamba forgiveness ni weakness. Ndio mara mingi watu dhania kwamba hebu iondoe hiyo.
Unasamehea kwani wewe ni mwanamke?
Hiyo porojo. Ati forgiveness is weakness. It's not weakness. That's a myth.
Yes. So it's a myth to say that forgiveness is a weakness. Actually, unforgiveness is a weakness. Forgiveness is not a weakness. Unforgiveness is a weakness. When you are not able to forgive, you have a weak link. Something is not right. Because now that tells you that you have too much space to hold on to the grudges, to hold on to the negative energies, and you're not willing to let them go. Because attachment and inability to let go is also a disaster by itself. And so this person who is not able to let go and forgive, then that's the person who is weak.
Yes.
And the more you're not able to forgive, the weaker you get, the weaker you become. Psychologically, mentally, even socially, because now you find people who say, mimi kila wakati nikiinteract na watu watanikosea tu, so sionagi haja ya kuinteract na watu. Mimi kila wakati nikiingia kwa relationship wana cheat, so sioni haja ya kuingia kwa relationship, because you have not forgiven.
It's not a weakness.
Yes, because the moment you forgive, you never say, I'll never get back there. Because you are forgiven, your heart is pure, your heart is clean, and so you don't stay there. So forgiveness is not a weakness, and forgiveness is the weakness. So we need to stop telling people that it is weak to forgive. It is not right to forgive. Unamsamehe, acha kumsamehe, unasdabu kumsamehe. Sasa huyo mwenye anakuambia usimsamehe, that should be your first enemy.
Asante mshauri, na sasa tunaendelea vizuri, show imepamba moto. Hii ni chumba cha mawaidha. Leo tunazungumzia kuhusu psychology of forgiveness, na tumezungumzia mambo kadha, na yule ambaye amekuja kidogo kuchelewa, ningependa tu kukuelezea kwamba sisi ni wakarimu sana. Unaweza rejelea katika Ezra Christian TV na ubonyeze chumba cha mawaidha, na utaweza kuona yale ambayo tulizungumzia hapo awali, na ili uweze kutembea pamoja nasi. Tunashukuru kwa umbali huu ambao tumekuja, na naona mwelekezi ananiambia muda unanipa kisogo. Lakini kabla tujafunga, kuna mtu pale nje bado anasema, hii kusamehe bwana, hii kusamehe ni ngumu. Hebu zungumzia kuhusu religion. Kenya inajulikana kwamba it's 80% religion. Na wakati tulipoanza uliweza kunukuu the Lord's Prayer ambayo inasema forgive others as you have been forgiven. Kwamba ukazungumzia kusema kwamba ni katika ile hali ya wewe kusamehewa ndio itakuwa ni rahisi wewe pia kuweza kusamehe wengine. Kwa hivyo kuna vile saikolojia inaingiana na mafundisho yetu ya kidini. Hebu tuelezee.
Naam, so when we talk about spirituality in general and even religion, religion preaches forgiveness.
Yes.
And I like that about religion, that it tells people to forgive, to let go, to not hold on to grudges and such. But one thing that I can also say is that if religion was able to help people understand that to begin with there's really nothing to forgive, then it would have done the best work. Because Bazuu, you do something to me that I consider wrong and worth forgiving. So if to begin with I can start at a place of not considering it wrong, and especially the very basics, so that now I don't have to put myself in a place of either forgiving or being forgiven, that would have been much better. But we need to continue letting people understand that they are not forgiving to go to heaven. They are not forgiving so that God can be pleased by them. They are not forgiving so that God can be happy about them. They are not forgiving so that they can see the kingdom of God. No, they are forgiving so that they can be in a peaceful state within themselves. It's not about heaven. No, weka hiyo kado kwanza. Hiyo tutakuja baadaye. It's not about the kingdom. It's not about pleasing God. It's not about making God excited. It's not about doing what God loves or no. It's about you. It's about you do it for you.
Yeah.
You're forgiving so that you can be at peace. You are forgiving so that you don't intoxify yourself, so that you don't poison your system, poison your body. So it is a good thing that religion is centered in forgiveness.
Yes.
And we keep advocating for that. We keep letting people know that forgiveness is the only way. And in lack of forgiveness is not really necessarily the reason why you are not forgiven. Like ni kama, let me say this. Si ati nikikataa kukusamehea Bazuu, Mungu atakasirika na mimi akose kunisamehea. No, by not forgiving you, I have failed to forgive me.
True.
You see? So by this very act of not forgiving you, by so doing, I have not forgiven me. And that's why we say that forgive me as I forgive others. Meaning that if I don't forgive others, don't forgive me. By forgiving others, I have forgiven myself. By not forgiving others, I have failed to forgive me. Because the other person is the same person as you. So the forgiveness is not going out. The forgiveness is actually going in.
Yeah.
The forgiveness is going in, healing in, creating peace in, and getting rid of all these other things that could poison you as an individual. So religion is doing a good thing, I would say,
yes.
But it's still they need to let people understand that really there's nothing to forgive. That if people can stay at peace and learn how to not perceive, especially the minor stuff, as things worth forgiving, something can just happen and you just accept it happened.
Yes.
You don't have to hold grudges. You don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to carry the grudges. You don't have to heap negative energy around it. You just accept, this happened. Tusonge, sirisha happen. Kwani tunafaa tufanye? Tunafaa tusonge wase, sawa twende. You don't stay there and dwell and start creating and attracting more negative energies. And now staying in a space where you don't even want to interact with other people. You don't even want to do anything that could grossly put you in a position where someone is doing something wrong that you may have to go through the cycle of forgiving. So it's a nice thing, but we need to take a few other steps ahead.
Asante.
Nice.
Thank you so much mshauri Nasaa, nashukuru umeleta hii, umeweza kuingiza na saikolojia pamoja na mambo yetu ya kilugha, ya kidini na wingi wa matumaini. Naona Charles hapa Ebukut akisema it's never easy. Kweli it's never easy. It's
but
true,
it's
never
easy,
but it's not impossible to be able to forgive. And you've been able to see that the more you don't forgive, it actually messes up with your health. And your health is your wealth. You need to make sure that your health is in tip-top. My producer is telling me I'm running out of time, but as I finish, I want to go back to our psychologist, and I want him to give us a do-it-yourself. So, mtu yule ambaye yuko pale tumeongea mambo mengi sana. Lakini mtu anasema tu tuseme tu jambo ambalo litatusaidia sisi. Like Charles was saying it's impossible. What can he do ambayo itamsaidia? Umesema you mentioned it about it. Ukasema you don't need to have that person near you. So it starts with you. People, let them understand it's about me. It's not about that other person. That other person could be clueless of what you're going through.
Yes.
So you start with yourself. Nipatie hiyo in the next 2 minutes and then we can wind up.
Now nataka nipe producer proper assignment. Every time tuko hapa, muda umekuwa ukitupa kisogo. So nataka nimpe assignment. Atafute kama kuna design tunaweza ngoa hii kisogo ya time ya muda tumoe ikuwe haina kisogo, so that ikigeuka hatuoni kisogo, you can be able to do it as long as we want. Now to come to a space of forgiving, you need to do a few things to make it a little bit more practical.
Yeah.
Sit down with yourself and ask yourself honestly, what is this that I need to be to forgive? Because we are talking about you forgiving other people. So what is this that I need to forgive the other person?
Yes.
Very important. Number 2, you want to ask yourself, what were the circumstances and situations that may have led this person to do the thing they did? Because kuna mtu alifanya jambo fulani, maybe ni mzazi wako, alikukosea na jambo fulani, lakini yeye pia ni innocent. The reason why your parents did that is probably out of their own unhealed wounds. Si ati walitaka. It's just that they also had their unresolved issues. They have their own traumas. They were forced and pushed by the circumstances and situations. So, number 1, ask yourself, what is this that I need to forgive? Number 2, the person that I want to forgive, could it be that they did what they did not because I'm a bad person, not because I deserved to be done so, not because they wanted to punish me, but maybe because they were also struggling at a personal level, and there were things that were out of hand, and so they ended up doing what they did. Then number 3, you can decide to write it down, because writing down sometimes comes with some magic of itself, like what we say, you journal. So you can decide now, I'm going to write it down, and the moment you write this down, you write the reason why you need to forgive, circumstances which you feel or think led to the person putting you in a position where you need to forgive them. You write that down, and you can even decide, if the person is absent, you can decide to write a forgiveness note. Like, I forgive you. Just write it down. Write everything down, down. You don't even have to tell them, you don't have to give it to them. You're just trying to, what we call, emote. You're trying to vent. You're trying to get it out of the system. You're trying to detoxify your system by letting it out. And the best way is to bring it out through writing. You can just write it down if you can, and then just burn the paper or eat it up, ama ufanye whatever you want with it. Or equally, if you can have a conversation with someone about that, you can sit down with someone, a friend, umwambie nao, baadaye kuna hii kitu mamangu alinikosea, ama babangu, ama rafiki yangu, ama so and so alinikosea, na hii kunibamba hata kidogo. Ama mke ama mume? Yes, ama mke, my wife ama my husband, alifanya hivi na hii kunibamba. It's still been hurting. And I don't feel like I can face them, or they even died and I can't face them. But I felt like I needed to have a conversation with someone about this. So I just thought I could have that conversation with you, because I just wanted to let that off my chest, so that I can feel the weight going down. But you know what, my friend, actually, I've already actually forgiven my mom. You know, I forgive her because of this and that. And then you have that conversation with a friend. By the end of that conversation, you feel you have forgiven the person, even in their absence. So it's very important that we get to forgive. But always I say, if you find yourself struggling to forgive, you don't know where to start, you don't know how to start, the other person is still hurting you, instead of asking for apologies, they hurt you. When you go to tell them they did something wrong so they can ask for an apology, they add something else that needs to be forgiven. And so every time you approach them, unajua ulinikosea, anaongeza ingine unafaa umkosea. Ukirudi tena anaongeza ingine. So you can always seek professional help, and that's why I usually always share my number. So that if you feel you need someone to help you, someone to walk through, or someone to walk with the journey of forgiveness, then we can explore that together. And here's my contact: 0713 550 493. 0713 550 493.
Asante mshauri nasaha. na tunashukuru kwamba leo umepata nafasi ya kuweza kuja katika show ya Chumba cha Mawaidha, na tumezungumzia kwa kina na mapana kuhusu saikolojia ya kusamehe. Na wengi wametumaini, wale ambao wamekuwa wakitutazama wameweza kuelewa mawili matatu kuhusu ya jinsi ambavyo tunafaa tujimudu. Lakini jambo muhimu ni kuelewa kwamba wakati unapokosa kusamehe mwingine, wewe ndio unabeba mzigo ule ambao ni mkubwa sana. Na ni vyema tuweze kuelewa hivyo. Na tunapoelewa hivyo, basi nataka kumalizia. Kabla sijamalizia, ningependa nikimalizia ndasema hivi. Kama vile Petero aliuliza Kristo, nitamsamehe ndugu yangu mara ngapi anaponikosea? Na Kristo akasema, umsamehe mara 7 mara 70. Yaani kumaanisha ni kwamba ni uwe na ule wepesi wa kuweza kusamehe, usibebe. Usifanye hili ni jambo muhimu sana kiasi ya kwamba ni mzigo kila wakati unakuwa ukibeba. Elewa kwamba unaishi katika dunia ambayo ina changamoto, watu sababu ya udhaifu moja ama mbili, na mshauri na saa amezungumzia mambo mengi. Uelewe kwamba watu wengine itakuwa ni rahisi sana kufanya makosa, kukukosea, na wewe na hata hawakuwa hawajui, lakini wewe umewabeba, unapata magonjwa, afya yako inazorota sababu umebeba mzigo wa kutosamehe. Kwa hivyo elewa kwamba, na tumezungumzia mambo mengi, udanganyifu ule ambao unaingia kwa sababu ya kusamehe hadi kutosamehe. Elewa kwamba haya yote yanakuhusu wewe, na tunamalizia na how you can be able to do it yourself. Kama haukupata kwa maelezo ya mshauri na saa, basi utaipata katika notes zetu hapo, na najua utaweza kuna kuendelea. Ningependa kushukuru Kim Proper ambaye ni producer wangu kwa kuvumilia. Mshauri na saa amesema lazima hicho kisogo kiondolewe ili tusije tukaonyeshwe muda, lakini ni vyema tuelewe kwamba kila kitu ina wakati wake, na ni vyema kuweza kuzingatia muda ule ambao tumepewa. Pia ningeweza kushukuru director wangu, mkurugenzi Ann, na pia na mama yetu ambaye tunampenda sana, mama Naomi, kwa kuweza kutupatia nafasi ya kuweza kupeperusha hii show ambayo inakujia kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 9 hadi Ijumaa ingine. Mwenyezi Mungu awatende mema. Asante.